Warning, mention of blood, and well, there is blood. Thank you, my lady. Suzume smiled as she bowed in front of her room. Just please don't get that thing in my room. Haru pointed to the spider. I don't mind, but please, I don't think I'd be comfortable. Yona spoke. Yona had stood beside you and Haru hid behind you, holding your clothes like a little child. I'm sorry, but, I was only told that I should not go into my lady and lord's room. She smiled, teasing the two, but the two thought it was real. All right. Now, you two get her clothes. The two nodded and scampered off. Now, you may, if you want, decorate your room, but it must be clean at all times. You then gave her a look and she nodded. It's right now, just the necessaries, so not much. You opened the door and she walked in. The rumors are true. He's not a color person, is he? She hummed. Yes, but most nobles are the ones to get color, really. But you'll get the noble colors. She nodded. And I'm guessing Royal Violet? She asked, to which you had nodded. She looked to the bed and laid down the spider, where it moved around the top layer of the futon. Then, putting his front feet? You don't know. You didn't know putting them near its mouth, then nodding? All right. She clasped her hands. Are you two coming in? She then asked the two girls. They had been there for who knows how long, watching the two of you. 3 of you? He's harmless. The only thing he can really do is kill a man. She giggled as the two dropped the things. The two holding each other, you picked up the comforters and gave them to Suzume. Well, I'll let you get comfortable. When you're done, the 3 of us will be in the garden. You smiled, closing the door and walking away. I wonder what her favorite dish is. Yeah, I hope it's nothing creepy. You two need to stop gossiping about a coworker. You looked at the two. They quit real quick. Besides, I know I just said not to gossip, but this is the truth. You stopped, turning to the two. She is our eyes and ears. You smiled. And I wish for you two and I not to gossip about her. The two formed a look down, then nodding. We're sorry, our lady, they said at the same time. You begin to walk away and sitting at your normal spot. Oh, snap, I forgot the tea. Haru kind of did that thing where toddlers whine after not getting what they want. Well, good thing I was prepared. Eep! Haru held on to Yona. Sorry to scare you. She looked to see Suzume. The Empress told me that you liked only certain teas, but won't mind drinking others. She placed the tray down. Lavender? She smiled. Well, thank you. But I didn't really want tea. You 3 can have it. You spoke, looking at them with a smile. Really? Haru asked. She just said it. Yona spoke. I'll take what's given. Suzume took the tea and sipped. Haru quickly took one of her and Haru. And Yona calmly. That's when you noticed the spider had been gone this whole time. May I ask, but is Mr. Fluffy, am I right? You asked and she nodded. Where is he? You asked once again. Well, taking intake. She smiled. I see. And how does your little power work? You asked. Well, see, I don't hear and see anything, but my companion can. So by the end of the day, I get everything I need. She had taken a sip of her tea and then placed it down. And what's yours? If you have one, she smiled. I have none. You quickly lied. I see. She nodded. Also, may I ask if you are allergic to anything, or anything I should know? She asked. I prefer no smoking and no honey or fish, he smiled, and told her what you had been allergic to. All right, she nodded. Is there... Wait, why should I ask? You sighed. Oh, she sighed. You raised your brow. Kai, you realized. Should I know anything about my you two? She asked. I'm mostly like Kai. I don't like things to be... Oh, I like things to be clean. And, I also kind of have a plushie collection. She blushed and looked to the side. You should see her room, Haru teased, which she had asked Yona. That question, by the way. Hey! She had become more red. I'm Haru, and I like things that shine. I tend to cherish them more than anything. She clasped her hands. Then I'll say some things about myself. Suzumi smiled. I like collecting things. May that be from offerings from humans or heck, more than that. She smiled, giggling away. Please tell me you don't collect human parts. You kind of made a disgust face knowing how some people were back in your time. No, don't worry, she smiled. But may I ask what you're into, my lady? She asked. Oh, well, it's kind of hard to explain, but I prefer to paint. She then nodded. All right. Mama! That was when Eri had wrapped her arms around you from behind. Oh, hello, sweetheart. You lightly giggled, still trying not to hurt the little girl's feelings. She had sitting down next to you and cuddled into your side. Please don't hug her so tight, okay? Yona spoke and Eri nodded. She is like the little princess, Suzumi giggled. No, she's a little shyer with new people. You rubbed her head. You should have seen her with Yin for the first time, Yona giggled. Or with me, Haru did too. Eri, would you please? You usher her to Suzumi. She looked at the girl and held your kimono tight. Hello, my name's Eri. She whimpered her head into your lap. It's a pleasure to meet you too. Suzumi smiled. Eri nodded and watched the girl. Do you know about her power? She asked, pointing to her. Yes, but only me and Kai should know. You spoke? Then I'll keep my lips sealed if I find out. She did the motion with her fingers and mouth. Thank you. You smiled. The rest of the day, the three girls and you spent the day talking about whatever that came to mind. At the end of the day, though, Haru was terrified to go to bed with the spider monster next door. Yona was, on the other hand, much calmer about it, saying it doesn't matter much, and just went to bed. But you were more confused. Suzumi was wearing Chinese clothing this whole day. Even she would wear her hair in pins like that too. Finally getting to your room and shutting the door, you had been tired. After dinner, you had to do paperwork, and now were pooped. Getting changed and then going to your new vanity and brushed your hair. Soon Kai came in. Kai, do you know about Europe? You asked. You didn't see Kai, but his face was showing confusion. Europe? He asked. All right, you sighed. So, he knows nothing about Europe. Do you know about China? You asked, and this time you turned to him. He was confused. No. Why do you ask? You put down your brush. No reasons. I just... seeing something? You hummed. Why? He asked. Well, when I was taking care of the Empress, she was given forget-me-nots, where in my world they grow high up in high up mountains, then Suzumi is wearing Chinese clothing. But it makes no sense since you don't know anything about it. You semi-flattened on the bed. Now that you mention it, you now whipped your head up. There had been many offerings with characters we didn't understand. You blinked. Tomorrow, could I possibly see them? You asked, smiling. Fine, he sighed. Yay! With that, the next morning when you got to the office, on your table was a little stack of books, only being 4, but they were thick books. You opened the first one, and even if you didn't know any Mandarin, you could tell by the characters. It's because Japanese alphabet literally comes from the Chinese one. So that means some may look and be the same, just with tiny differences or possible meanings. Also, pictures became your friend that day. Since the books had many pictures of culture and how they act, actually, not really, culture, yes, with that, you assumed that the forget-me-nots were an offering back in the day and the seeds were saved. Same with Suzumi's clothing and items. You probably should have thought of that sooner. Technically, being 2 months pregnant was draining you, so you were probably going on a break soon, and that would mean the two would be more overly protective over you, and Suzumi would probably listen to others that wanted you to fail. To be honest, you were kind of scared of Suzumi. When you had walked by her room this morning, the door had been opened, and, you may have taken a little peek, but you regretted it. Animal skulls. Nope. But anyways, back to this office. You had paper out and had everything in your mind on it about this world. Only world is Japan, really. And everything that usually isn't in Japan culture or wasn't made in Japan is from offerings of people. You had wanted to see how many things that were from other places into this world. You got up and wanted to walk. It had been a warm and sunny day. Which was your favorite? You loved how the flowers were full of color. The pretty blues, pinks, and purples were all gorgeous. The green of the stems and leaves helped the light color seem brighter. But that was when you noticed Haru, Yona, who were standing with Suzumi over a servant. You had made sure not to be in their view, since you kind of wanted to see how this goes. How dare you! Taking words from that woman, you heard Haru. Do you realize how much more in trouble you'll be? Whatever you're getting will never be enough for your pity, Yona spat. If you give this to our lady, then I have no choice. Suzumi had one sleeve in front of her face and the other, her spider looking different. The cute little thing looked on the verge of jumping and had its fangs burring out. I'll go and confess to him. You'll go and confess to him wherever. And you'll be in so much pain. You'll wish to rip out your own stomach and insides. Suzumi spoke in a dark tone. What you thought were underbags were actually more eyes. What's going on? They had been so caught up that they didn't know you walking to them. This man was planning on harming you. Haru came up to you. He was gonna give you pufferfish and not inspected. And he was going to lie, saying, the Lord thought it would make you happy. Haru huffed. You looked at the man, plate on the floor. Yona and Suzumi still standing over the man. Suzumi, you looked at the man who had pleading eyes. Do it. And Suzumi nodded and brought the spider to her lips before saying something. The spider looked to the man, jumped on him, and bit his skin. The man gasped, then falling onto the floor, twitching, foam coming from his mouth, and his screams were ruffled with the foam and the pain he was in, clawing at his lungs, eventually clawing through his skin. Blood starting to well up, dropping to the floor, then parts of his flesh being ripped out by his own skin. Now you could see its organs. This was when you looked away, but you could hear it tear apart, and then nothing. Screams were gone, and the sound of his frantic movements was too. You looked back. The man was on the floor, lifeless. I'll go explain this to Kai. Get someone to clean this up. When you said this, you had kicked the man's body, walking away as the three bowed. When walking to his office, you only thought of one person and one person only, Yaba. And you had a plan to get rid of her forever. And thanks to Suzumi, it would be easy. And you could tell you had a wicked grin. And when you got to the office, you opened the door and closed it. Kai had looked up and watched you. We had a little traitor who tried to kill me. Kai had now gone up. Do you want me to deal with it? He asked. No. He stopped. I dealt with it. You smiled. Though I would like to have a little tea party with me and, Yaba. But you hate that woman. He probably was trying to think of what the heck you were going to do to her. To simply get rid of her. You giggled. And all he did was nod. You left, going to have your own time. Seeing the man was gone. Good. You had gone to your room and relaxed. You wanted to make sure your new plan was going to be foolproof, making sure that she would never bother you again. And then you'll go to her grandson with Kai. You're not going to do anything about her? Chrono asked. No, besides, I was planning on doing something, but I know she's going to make it worse than I can. Kai spoke, then taking his drink to his lips. Do you know what she's planning? Chrono asked, putting paper on his desk. No, but I know she plans to do something that will make them never see each other again. Chrono nodded. Do you want me to call her? Yaba, I mean. No, don't. But I'm going to get something. Kai got up and left the room. Back to you. Suzumi, Yona, Haru, could you three help me with something? You asked at your vanity. Anything, my lady, Haru spoke. With what? Suzumi asked. Yona had said nothing. She was giving you a look that she already knew what you wanted to do. Suzumi, does the little cutie thing produce poison without biting someone? You asked, playing with the little spider on your lap. Suzumi now finally knew what you meant. Oh, yes. She smiled. Haru was still confused. What does she want us to do? I don't know. Haru had becoming teary. Yona then came over to her and whispered into her ear. That's when her face realized. Oh, I can do that. She put her hand up. All you will. All of you will have a place. You smiled. Little guy, you're going to be in a big part of this too. You petted the fluffy little thing. Okay, Fluffy, let's help our lady. The little spider then jumped off and scampered to her. I'll have to do and get some stuff. Suzumi exchanged herself and left. You two will be making the tea. Haru, I know you're good with hiding things in liquid. And I want you to do it. Yona, I want you to make a semi-copy of it, just in case she gets suspicious of me. You smiled. But right now, I need you to write a letter to her. You smiled, getting ready to write a letter to the lady. And what would you do to her grandson? Yona asked. I'll do something different, so he won't think I'll do the same thing. You yawned, a little tired. And It needs to be something before I get to him. You had been writing, smiling, so you were ready to do this plan. All right. Yona nodded. She and you hated those two the worst since she had known her the longest, and she was still pissed at the fact that he, that day, had hurt you. She wanted him dead, and you knew that, so she knew you wanted him gone as well. Yona walked over to you. Yin, I will do anything for you. I have been there the longest, and I know you the most. I don't care if we have to go to court, even to the royal court, but I will do it for you. You nodded. Now, let's start. You smiled. You had explained what you were going to do, and they would help. So, once you were done with the letter, you gave it to Suzumi to send it, and she did. All of you just had to wait now. You were just glad to be able to do it with Kai's permission. So, you were ready for this girl to be dead. You got up. You wanted to see your cute little girl. Once there, you knocked on the door, and she opened the door. When she saw you, she was smiling. Mama, she said, excited just to see you. She hugged you, her face cuddling into you. How's my cute little girl? You asked as you hugged back. I was playing. She smiled as she ran into her room, and you followed. She came back to you with a plush you had technically painted for her. Can we paint and draw together? She asked, smiling. Oh, of course. What do you want to draw? You asked, smiling. Mountains. She smiled. You giggled, sitting next to her. She picked up the colors you had made for her and started color, making what looked to be Mount Fuji, but at the top of the peak was a castle. What's the castle for? You asked as you made flowers. That's where I will live when I'm older, and I'll have my Prince Charming. She smiled, her hands on her cheeks. Ever since you had told her about those princess shows you watched as a kid, and with the littler ones in your family, she had begun to dream all sorts of things, like a Prince Charming taking her away to her happily ever after. But how could the world be so cruel in making those dreams crumble? You would know, but you wanted to make sure she got everything to her little heart's content, even if that meant doing something Kai would. Next week, you and Yoba are going to have a little tea party. And, well, maybe something new comes up and you're gonna have to be yourself. Also, maintain your composure and take care of yourself. But anyways, I love you all so much. Bye!